Jai Hind children. We are continuing a discussion on Gauss theorem and its applications. Now we can study the remaining two applications of Gauss's theorem. Electric field due to a uniformly charged plane sheet and electric field due to a spherical shell, charged spherical shell. The second application of Gauss theorem is to find electric field at a point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Electric field at a point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Okay, so consider this is a plane sheet and it is placed in the YZ plane. This is an infinite plane sheet and it is placed in YZ plane. YZ plane means perpendicular to the plane of the board. Okay, YZ like this. And here it is uniformly charged. Here since the plane sheet is very thin, the charge distribution we can apply is surface charge density. Okay, so let sigma be the surface charge density. That means charges are uniformly distributed on that area. So sigma represents the surface charge density of the plane sheet and sigma is greater than 0. Why it is greater than 0? Because positive charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the plane sheet. Okay, so consider a plane sheet placed in YZ plane and having surface charge density sigma which is greater than 0. We have to find out electric field at the point P distant r from the plane sheet. And it is along which axis? It is along the x-axis because plane sheet is placed in the YZ plane. So we have to find out electric field along which axis? Along x-axis. P is a point along the x-axis. In order to apply Gauss's theorem, we know we have to assume a closed surface, closed Gaussian surface. Hence, we can assume a cylindrical Gaussian surface passing through the point P. Okay, so in order to find out electric field at the point P, assume a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Now, in order to apply Gauss's theorem, we have to find out the total electric flux. So here in a cylinder, how many areas are there? 3 areas, 2 flat areas, 2 flat surface areas and 1 curved surface area. Okay, so we can find out electric flux through the first phase, electric flux through the curved phase and electric flux through the third phase. Okay, flat phase, other flat phase. Electric flux through the region 1. This is region 1. We know what is the direction of area vector. Area vector, it is outward normal. So here in this area, the direction of area vector is outward normal, means this is the direction of area vector. Clear? This is the direction of area vector. And what is the direction of electric field? So this represents the direction of area vector and what is the direction of electric field? Electric field is also along same direction because this is positive charge, you know. If you consider a point here, what is the direction of electric field? Outward. Okay, that is along outward direction. So electric field and area vector are along same direction. In the region 1, the direction of area vector is outward normal and the direction of electric field is also along the same direction because here positive charges are there, no? So since it is positive charge, the direction of electric field is outward. So electric field and area vector are along the same direction. So what is the flux in this region? Let this area be S. Okay, this area, cross-sectional area, let it be S. So what is the electric flux through this region 1? Phi 1 equal to S cos theta. But what is theta there? Electric field and area vector are along the same direction. Therefore, theta is 0. Now, what is the flux through the curved region? In the curved region, what is the direction of area vector? That is also outward normal. In the second region, electric field is towards right and area vector is perpendicular out. Okay, outward normal. So electric field and area vector are perpendicular to each other. So theta is 90 degrees. So what is electric flux there in the second region? That is equal to 0. If you consider the region here, there also electric field and area vector are perpendicular, isn't it? So since the positive charge is here, electric field is outward and the area vector are perpendicular. So electric field and the area vector are perpendicular to each other. So in that region also electric flux is equal to 0. Now what is the electric flux through the third region? This flat phase, there electric field and area vector are along the same direction. So what is the value of theta there? Theta is equal to 0. So electric flux is equal to ES. So electric flux exists only in the two flat phases. In the curved region, electric flux is equal to 0, isn't it? So in the flat phase, these two flat phases, electric field and area vector are along the same direction. Therefore, theta is equal to 0. So phi 1 equal to ES. In the third region, there also electric field and area vector along the same direction. Therefore, there also theta is equal to 0. So, electric flux is equal to ES. So how will you find out the total electric flux? Total electric flux is phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. So total electric flux is phi equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. Phi 1 is Es, phi 2 equal to 0 and phi 3 equal to Es. So we can find out that is 2 Es. That is the first equation. From Gauss theorem, what is electric flux? Phi equal to Q by epsilon 0. Total electric flux is 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed. So phi equal to Q by epsilon 0. But charge is equal to sigma into S, isn't it? We know surface charge density is equal to charge divided by area. So Q equal to sigma into area is S. So sigma S divided by epsilon 0. That is the second equation. Equating 1 and 2. Here phi equal to 2 Es, here phi equal to sigma S by epsilon 0. Equating 1 and 2, we will get 2 Es is equal to sigma S divided by epsilon 0. S and S cancel, so electric field is sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0. So electric field at a point due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet is E equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0. Okay children, so electric field at a point along the x-axis of a uniformly charged plane sheet, if it is placed in the y-z axis is y-z plane is E equal to sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0. We do electric field at a point due to infinitely long uniformly charged plane sheet is E equals sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0. Okay, that means there is no term relating distance. So whatever be the distance, what happens to electric field remains constant. Okay, so electric field due to infinitely long uniformly charged plane sheet does not depend on distance, because from the derivation itself we know electric field is sigma divided by 2 epsilon 0. That means electric field remains constant. So whatever be the distance from the infinitely long plane sheet, electric field remains constant. So if a graph is plotted with distance and electric field, as distance increases, what happens to electric field? Electric field remains constant. So this is the graph. Now we can discuss the third application of Gauss theorem, that is electric field at a point due to charged spherical shell. Here we can consider a charged spherical shell of radius capital R. This is a charged spherical shell of radius capital R, and the charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the shell. Okay, here we can apply the continuous charge distribution as sigma, because charges are uniformly distributed on the area. Therefore, sigma represents the surface charge density. Sigma is greater than 0 because positive charges are distributed on the surface. So, consider a spherical shell of radius capital R and having surface charge density sigma. Here, we have to find out electric field at 3 points. Electric field outside the shell, electric field on the surface of the shell, and electric field inside the shell. Okay, so first we can find out electric field at the point outside the shell. Here, this is a point which is outside the shell, and the point is at a distance small r from the center of the shell. Okay children, so we have to find out electric field at a point outside the shell. For that, we can assume a closed surface. That closed surface is called Gaussian surface. Here we can assume a spherical Gaussian surface. Okay, passing through the point where we have to find out the electric field and enclosing the shell. So here we have to find out the electric field. So consider a Gaussian surface of radius small r passing through the point where we have to find out the electric field and enclosing the shell. And small r represents the radius of that Gaussian surface. Now, what is the total electric flux passing through the Gaussian surface? From the general formula, we know electric flux is phi equal to Es cos theta. So, total electric flux passing through the Gaussian surface is phi equals Es cos theta, where theta is the angle between electric field and area vector. Here, electric field and area vector are along the same direction, because since it is positive charge, electric field is outward. Area vector is also normally outward. So, theta is equal to 0. Therefore, electric flux is E into area. What is the area of the Gaussian surface? Spherical Gaussian surface, no? So, what is its area? 4 pi r square. So total electric flux passing through the Gaussian surface is Es cos theta. Theta is the angle between electric field and area vector. Electric field and area vector are along the same direction. Therefore theta 0. So flux is equal to E into 4 pi r square. That is the first equation. Then from Gauss theorem we know electric flux is equal to charge divided by epsilon 0, Q by epsilon 0. Here charge enclosed, let it be Q. Q be the charge distributed on the surface of the shell. So Q divided by epsilon 0, that is the second equation. We can equate 1 and 2, that is the usual method. So E into 4 pi r square equal to Q by epsilon 0 or E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q divided by r square. So electric field at a point outside a charged spherical shell, thin charged spherical shell is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q divided by r square. We know that is the formula for electric field due to a point charge. Electric field at a point due to a point charge is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square. So what does it mean? Electric field in the case of a charged spherical shell is as if the entire charge is distributed at its center. Even though the charges are distributed on the surface, it is assumed that the effect of all the charge is at the center. Thus, for points outside the charged spherical shell, electric field due to a spherical shell is as if the entire charge is concentrated at its center. Also, we know sigma be the surface charge density. Sigma is equal to charge by area, isn't it? So, using that formula, we can write phi equal to, from Gauss's theorem, we can write phi equal to Q by epsilon 0. But what is that charge? Charge is equal to sigma into area. Area, what is the area? The charges are distributed on the surface of the shell. Therefore, area is 4 pi r square, isn't it? So, we have Q equal to sigma into area. Substituting that formula, we can write the second equation can also be written as phi equals Q by epsilon 0 can be written as sigma 4 pi capital R square divided by epsilon 0. Because we know charge is equal to surface charge density into area. Area means area of the shell because charges are accumulated on the surface of the shell. Therefore, sigma into 4 pi r square divided by epsilon 0. That is the third equation. Equating this first one and the third equation, 1 and 3, we can write E into 4 pi r square equal to sigma 4 pi capital R square divided by epsilon 0. 4 pi and 4 pi get cancelled. So, electric field E equal to another formula for electric field sigma by epsilon 0 into capital R square divided by small r square. So, electric field at a point due to a charged spherical shell outside the shell is given by two formula, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by small r square, that is the first formula. Another one is sigma by epsilon 0 into capital R square divided by small r square. What is capital R? That is radius of the shell. Small r represents the point outside the shell. Okay, so these are the two formula for electric field at a point outside a charged spherical shell. Second one, we can find out electric field on the surface of the shell. We know electric field at a point outside the shell is given by E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r square or E equal to sigma by epsilon 0 capital R square divided by small r square. We know capital R is the radius of the shell and small r is the distance of the point P outside the shell. Here also we can consider the charged spherical shell of radius capital R so that the charges are uniformly distributed on the surface of the shell. Now, what is the electric field on the surface of the shell? So, on the surface of the shell means what is small r becomes capital R, isn't it? So, the point is on the surface of the shell. So, we have to find out electric field on the surface of the shell means what is the radius of the Gaussian surface? Radius of Gaussian surface is same as the radius of the shell, isn't it? So, small r equal to capital R. Hence, on the surface of the shell, small r equal to capital R. Therefore, the formula becomes E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by capital R square, or since small r and capital R are equal, they get cancelled and the electric field becomes sigma divided by epsilon 0. So, electric field on the surface of the shell is first formula 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by r capital R square and sigma divided by epsilon 0. Last one, we can find out electric field inside the charged spherical shell. Again, we can consider the charged spherical shell of radius capital R. We have to find out electric field at the point P inside the shell. Okay, we have to find out electric field at the point P inside the shell. We know the charges are accumulated only on its surface. So, is there any charge inside the shell? No, there is no charge inside. Charges are accumulated only on the surface of the shell and there is no charge inside the shell. So, does the Gaussian surface enclose any charge? Here, this is the Gaussian surface. Passing through the point P where we have to find out the electric field, we can assume a Gaussian surface, spherical Gaussian surface, and the Gaussian surface does not enclose any charge. See, inside the charged shell, charge Q equal to 0 because the Gaussian surface does not enclose any charge. The charges are accumulated only on its surface. So, inside the charged shell, total charge equal to 0. And hence, what is the electric field inside the charged spherical shell? Electric field is 0. Okay. So, inside the charged spherical shell, electric field is equal to 0 because charges are accumulated only on the surface of the charged shell. Okay. Now we can draw the variation of electric field with distance for a charged spherical shell, uniformly charged spherical shell. Let this is a uniformly charged spherical shell and we can draw a graph relating distance r and electric field. So this represents the charged spherical shell and here this is the surface of the charged spherical shell where electric field is maximum, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by capital R square. And outside which as distance increases, what happens to electric field? Electric field decreases. Okay, as distance increases, electric field decreases and the electric field value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by small r square. So, outside small r greater than capital R. On the surface means small r equals capital R. Inside means inside the charged spherical shell small r is less than capital R where electric field is 0. Here electric field is equal to 0. Clear? So, this is a graph relating electric field and distance for a uniformly charged spherical shell. The formula for electric flux, the Gauss's theorem and the applications of Gauss's theorem. Okay, now we move on to the first question. A charge Q is placed at the center of a cube. What is the flux coming out from one face? So there is a cube, we can draw a cube. So consider a cube and a charge Q is placed at the center of the cube. Here is the charge Q at the center. Okay, charge Q is placed at the center of the cube. What is the flux coming out from one face? Coming out from one face. We know from Gauss's theorem what is the total electric flux? Phi equals Q upon epsilon 0. So that is the total flux passing through the surface is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed. So this is the total flux coming out from the surface. Here we have to find out the flux coming out from one face. So in this cube, how many phases are there? 6 phases are there. So what is the flux coming out from one face is equal to, since 6 phases are there, so flux coming out from one phase is Q divided by 6 epsilon 0. Clear? So that is the final answer. Second question. The figure shows 3 charges as shown. Find the flux due to this configuration through the surface. So this is the figure given, plus Q charge is here, Q charge is here, this is the surface, and minus 3Q is the charge outside. Okay, so this is a figure given. So the question is, find the flux due to this configuration through a surface S. So this is the surface given in the question. We have to find out the total flux coming out through the surface. Again we can apply Gauss theorem. We have phi equals charge upon epsilon 0. Here, what is the flux passing through the surface? So here the surface enclosed two charges. What are the two charges? Plus 2q and plus q. These are the two charges enclosed by the surface. And minus 3q is the charge outside the surface. So flux phi equals, we have q represents the total charge enclosed by the surface. Here the surface encloses how many charges? Plus 2q and q. Therefore we can write 2q plus q divided by epsilon 0, because minus 3q charge is outside the surface. Okay, so it is equal to, final answer is 3q by epsilon 0. So this is the flux enclosed by the surface, and if the surface also encloses minus 3q, then we can take that minus 3q also. But here in the given question, the surface encloses only two charges. Therefore flux is equal to total charge enclosed, that is Gauss's theorem. Divide total charge enclosed divided by epsilon 0. So here it is 3q by epsilon 0. Clear? Now pass on to the third question. Two charges minus 2q and plus q are located at the points A0 and 4A0 respectively. What is the electric flux due to these charges through a sphere of radius 3a with center at the origin? Okay. So what is the electric flux due to these charges through a sphere of radius 3a with center at the origin? So from the given information we can draw a figure. So here this is the origin. Then two charges are there, minus 2q and plus q. So here minus 2q. What is the distance? It is at a distance a0. Okay, so this distance is equal to a. And where is the charge? Next charge is plus q and it is placed at 4a0. So here let it be q and it is at a distance 4. Okay, so both the charges are placed along the x-axis. Now we can draw a sphere. Okay, draw a sphere of radius 3a. So here this distance is a, this distance is 4a. That means we can draw a sphere. Here we can draw a sphere with O as the origin. Okay, so draw a sphere. So what is the radius of the sphere? Radius of the sphere is equal to 3a. Clear? So the sphere encloses how many charge? Only one charge, isn't it? Minus 2q is the only charge enclosed by the sphere and q is outside the sphere. Again we can apply the same Gauss theorem. Phi equals q upon epsilon 0. Here also what is the flux enclosed by the sphere of radius 3a is equal to only minus 2q charge is enclosed. So here it is minus 2q by epsilon 0. This is the answer, because q charge is outside the sphere, isn't it? So minus 2q charge is the only charge enclosed by the sphere, and hence the flux enclosed by the sphere is equal to minus 2q divided by epsilon 0.